Hi everyone, this is Sally with the Polka Dot Life. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Do you like Slimline cards? I am going to be perfectly honest with you. I know I've made them with you before, but they really aren't my favorite style of card to make. However, that being said, I do really like the looks of the mini Slimline cards, but they do present a little bit of a challenge then when you get to the envelope portion. And so today we are going to make a mini Slimline card and the matching envelope. In fact, we might do it twice. And I have a whole lot of examples to show you using a lot of my new favorite sets. So let's flip the camera down and get started on today's project. When I'm filming this, it is October 1st, and some new things have kicked off today, and I wanted to bring those to your attention. First off is our kits collection is on sale. Now this does not include scrapbooking kits or paper pumpkin kits, but it does feature all of those all-inclusive kits, and they're really great. They're nice for gift giving. If you have teenagers or tweenagers or college kids that like to do crafts, this is a great thing. You can have it sent straight to them. Maybe send one to them and one to you, and you could get on FaceTime and craft together, or get some of these while they're on sale and use them for Christmas gifts. They are just super fun. And I just love kits, but we have home decor kits, we have card kits, we have, there's one that even makes a little game. All sorts of fun things. And so they are all up to 30% off. They're not all the same percentage off, but they're up to 30% off. This is one that released today. There are two kits that released today. This one is called Alpine Air Kit, and it is a card kit, and it has some stamping. Some kits are non-stamping too, so that's good to know. But these look really pretty, and I'm sorry, my printer is running out of ink, I believe, but this is a really nice one. And let's see, it is on sale for $19.80. This sale runs through October 31st. But kits are while supplies last. So some they're probably trying to clear out to prepare room for new kits, but probably these newer ones will be around for a little bit. But especially if there's an older kit that you would have had your eye on or were wanting, I would go ahead and get those sooner rather than later. This is another one, and this is called a look back kit. And it is like a journaling, memory keeping, like mini scrapbook kind of kit. It comes with this notebook, this spiral bound notebook, and then it has like several ephemera packs and little card pieces and die cuts, and it is super fun. So all you need to do is journal and add your photos. So that is fun. Well, I mean, you have to make it, but just to make it your own, those are the things that you would need to add. One of the other things going on is there is a starter kit special. If you like getting things at a discount, this is what I would encourage you to do. If you were thinking of placing a larger order, specifically like Christmas cards, if you hadn't ordered that kind of thing yet, because I'm telling you, our inventory list, several things have been going on low inventory, and some of them are not coming back until mid-November. So I don't want to be a pusher or anything like that. I'm just telling you the reality of what it is, supply chain issues. And so I would order sooner versus later if you haven't ordered your Christmas things yet. But if you are interested and you are going to place a large order, your starter kit price is $99. And you would get to choose $155 worth of product. And so that is like a great savings. That's what, $56 worth of free product. And then once you place that order, you automatically start at a 20% discount, and you have the opportunity to increase it from there, but you automatically would get 20% off of your orders. And there's a low quarterly minimum. And if you're buying your supplies and just keeping your regulars up, it really is not hard to do. So I am a no pressure kind of person. You can ask me. I can give you names of some team members. I do not bother them unless they really want the coaching on the business end. But if they are just super happy discount shoppers, there is nothing sent to them, no pressure at all here. So you can email me at sally@thepolkadotlife.com if you would like more information. Or you can just go to my website, thepolkadotlife.com, and click join, and you could get the information there. The last thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is World Card Making Day is October the 5th. And it is just an hour long, but it's from 2 to 3 p.m. Mountain Time because everything's based on Utah time. But you need to register before 2 o'clock Mountain Time on the 4th. There is no cost, and you don't even have to have the supplies that they have told you that they'll be using. You can just watch, and if it's something that you're interested in making, then you can order those later, or you can just take those card ideas and layouts and create them using something that you already own. So you can scan this QR code. I don't know if it will do that here, but I will put the information also on my blog. Or if you would like a direct link emailed to you, just send me an email and I will send that to you as well. As I stated before, I do not like the long and skinny Slimline cards. I like these mini ones so much better. The long ones have too much real estate for me. It just kind of looks distorted. I just don't like them. I think it's limiting and frustrating as to what you can do with them. So that's why I like these mini ones better. And also then there was the envelope situation. A lot of people would use those privacy envelopes, business envelopes. And if you do that and it works for you, that's fine. It was just tacky to me. I'm not going to put time and effort into a nice handmade card and then have that be somebody's first impression of that card. And that is where I've landed on doing these mini ones. I kept seeing them. I just didn't know the measurements. So I figured those out, and we are going to make a proper envelope as well. So first thing we need to do is extend the arm of our trimmer. And we are going to bring this in, and we are going to cut at 6.5. I have this 8. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have a scrap either way. And so 6.5. And then we are going to go at 7. And while we have this 7-inch side at the top, we are going to score it in half at 3.5 inches. And just make sure you use this light one. This is the scoring blade, not the cutting blade. And so here is your here is your card base. And that is just pretty straightforward. I know y'all can handle that. Now moving on to the envelope, we are going to keep this 8.5-inch side intact. And we are just going to take this and put that 11-inch side to 9.5 inches. And we are going to cut that. And then while we have it there, we are going to score it at 1 inch. Remember, use your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. And 8 inches. And then we are going to turn it, and we are going to score the 8.5-inch side at the top. We are going to score it at 2 and at 6. Let me move this out of the way. Now, these 4 corners are what we are going to remove, and it's nothing fancy. I am not a 3D person because I don't like math. I could do it, but it's not my enjoyable thing. So I tend to shy away from them, and I shouldn't. But you just want to go ahead. These two, or at least this one side, isn't going to show a lot, but it just is going to make the fold nicer, and it's going to make that hinge of your flaps work better. So there's one end. Here's the other. really is not difficult or time consuming. There you go. Just that quickly. So anytime you are making a 3D project or an envelope, you need to use your bone folder, and you need to come in and you need to crease this. So let's just do all of our edges. And then let's use our tear and tape. And on this smaller side, this one's thicker, this one's thinner, we're just going to run a piece of tear and tape here. If you live in a really humid climate, or you're mailing something to a really humid climate, the tear and tape would probably be fine. I would maybe even consider multi-purpose glue. However, you will have to be a little careful with that so you don't get it oozing everywhere and then make it so that it goes through and gets down to where your card needs to go in, and then you wouldn't be able to do that. So there, that's how that goes. And here's a good time to just check and make sure that those flaps go down and work well. So this larger one is the top, so we're going to leave that open. And we are just going to come in here with this. You can use one piece, or you can use 2 pieces just for a little extra insurance. And we'll just use our scissors, or you take your pick tool to get this release paper started. And there. So here we have our envelope. Now, you wouldn't want to put your adhesive on here just yet. If you're going to mail it, you'll adhere it with the tear and tape or your multi-purpose glue when it's time. Or if you're just going to hand deliver it, you could use the little Velcro pieces with the adhesive on it and tape this down. Even just you might be able to figure out how to tuck it in, but I think even a little decorative paper clip would be really super cute if you had those to use. But something else I like to do, and if you don't have a punch that would work, this was the size we used to sell. I don't think we sell this one anymore. This is 1.5 inches. But I just want to put a little notch so it's easier for the recipient to pull the card out. And we're just going to slide this in and kind of get it center-ish and give that a little snip. Another thing I like to do is you could certainly leave these this way, but if I'm just going to show you how to do it, if you don't have corner rounder and you have a circle punch, you can just go through the top down into where that opening is and give that a little snip to make that rounded. But again, if you're new especially and you don't have these things, you could cut this little notch in by hand. You could do all of those things. And see, this just needs a little piece of that fray trimmed off. Just, you know, bone folder, fingernail, get these little edges smoothed out. And so we have this. I drew some inspiration from the annual catalog. And this is actually the old catalog. This is the January to April. This was the spring mini catalog, but it had the best picture of these dies that we're using for today's cards. The perennial postage bundle, since it is a carryover item, it isn't pictured exactly really clearly in the new annual catalog, so I just wanted to show it to you. And we are going to be using not these 2 bigger rectangle dies, but we are going to use the largest of the small ones and the largest of the square ones. And then, so we have this, we have 2 of these, and then one of these small ones It's the one with just the sides, and it's the same length as the square ones. So those are the pieces we are going to be using for our stamping today. The stamps that we are using is Choose Happy, and it is on page 24 of the annual catalog. And this is right after all of those really great layout ideas. And this stamp set was designed with a beginning stamper in mind, because there are buildable greetings, and then there are images for lots of different holidays and occasions. And so it's kind of a really great, if you're just starting out and you're looking for something, make sure you choose a stamp set that has both greetings and images. You'll get a lot farther without getting frustrated by not having something that you would like to have. So I wanted to showcase this today, and it's great. This card is great for using these small images. So we have our pieces here, and we have our envelope. I want to go ahead, before I forget, and I want to stamp the envelope. So I'm going to put this large flap this way to my right, and then I am just going to stamp this. And with it being the B on the crushed curry, we don't even have to color anything, and that is really easy. Then I also have a white insert for the inside of my card. And I want to put that same B on the inside. So there is that. We're going to use this B stamp again, but I think I want to go ahead and stamp. There's a flower stamp, and that is what I want to use first. And so we can put one, put the leaves going to the bottom. And then the top. And then we can just kind of fit this bee and his trail in however that works, however we kind of need to go right in between. Super cute. On one square, we are going to be stamping a pumpkin in the center. And then on the other one, we have a really cute little apple stamp that we are putting on it. And then we need some words. In this first one, we are going to use the word autumn. And then the second one, we are going to stamp the word, make sure that is inked up, happy. And that is our stamping. It's so fun. And so to color in our images, let's start with this one. We don't have a crushed curry blend anymore. We used to, but it must not have been a seller, so we no longer have that one. I am using the Dark Daffodil Delight. Oh my, must have shut that one really strong. But we are just going to do a quick coloring. We are not shading. I'm going to try to stay off the back edges. It's easier to go in, or the edges there. It's easier to go back in and dot in some color if you need to, then try to fix it. But just use a light touch. I just thought some of these images just really lent themselves to a cute fall card. And I wanted to play with it. So I was really happy that I broke it out. And I don't want to take too much time, but I don't want to do a really bad job coloring for you either. We use the Memento black ink since we are using the alcohol marker. You'll use the opposite. If you're using your Stampin' Write markers, you use the StazOn, because that's an alcohol ink, because the water won't make the alcohol run or vice versa. So that is how that needs to go. And then we just need to do our little bee stripes on here as well. And then for the center of our flower, I am using the light Cajun Craze. And I'm just kind of dotting that around, and it's just filling itself in. I am going to put this away from my other markers because I tend to use it for my pumpkin, and that is not the color I want on my pumpkin. I've learned this before. So the only things that we're not doing a lot of shading. I shouldn't say the only things, but we aren't doing any in-depth shading. But I am just going to take the vein of the leaf and use the dark old olive blend. And then I am going to use the light and just come in right over top of it. And it will soften that out. It'll just have enough shading to be interesting. So that center part for our card is finished. And actually, while I'm doing green, let's put a little shading in our apple. And then color in the leaf. And let's bring in our pumpkin because both of these have stems. And I am just going to use the light pecan pie. And I actually like to use this chisel end, this nib, because even though it lays down more ink, I just feel like I have, and I'm like barely airbrushing this down here. It's barely touching and filling all of that in. So there, we have that. And like I say, there's one little place there. It's just easy to hit that like that, and it fills in nicely. So on our apple, we are going to use the dark Real Red. And again, we're going over these places. And then I am just going to lightly come along some of these outer portions. Just to give it a little shading. Just, like I say, a little bit of depth. But I'm not doing multiple layers of color unless I see after it dries that something just really needs a little blending or something. And sometimes to get the full look, you do have to let your blends dry and let that alcohol evaporate off. You can tell some things, but like this is lighter in here and I'm okay with that. That can be its highlight. And so that's our apple. I'm just going to move that up there since that's kind of wet to kind of protect my surface just a little bit. And then for the pumpkin pie, we have the light and we have the dark as well. And I am just going to go and create these sections. Of our pumpkin. And then I'll take the light and fill it in. Do you like coloring? To me, it's very therapeutic. I enjoy it. I know some people do not love it. And if you don't have markers, this is a small set. So if you invested in the watercolor pencils, which gives you a lot of versatility of how dark or light something can be, and it comes in a lot of colors, those are a great coloring tool to get started with. Or your water painters, blender pen, those are good options as well. So there, that is all of our coloring. We have our base, which we can go ahead and just fold in half. And if you need to smooth out any edges, that's just a quick way to do that with your bone folder. I like to put my liner in with a tape runner. And that takes care of getting that up and out of our way. I'm going to move this back over here for a minute. So we have our black piece on the front. I don't usually use a lot of black, but I thought it looked really nice with the crushed curry. And we're just going to kind of lay out our pieces. Nothing needs to be like 100%, but you do want to have an idea of how you want these to be, because you at least would want your top straight, just for your eye to make it a little more appealing. And you want your sides to be pretty much the same, equal borders. So if you can just go ahead and lay that out from the get-go. Some people like to start on the edges and work in. Other people like to go from the center out. You do whatever makes you happiest. I have my liquid glue. I kind of do either or. I am going to go and just work from the outsides in, just to kind of get these side pieces, get our borders established about the right distance, and then we can make this one up in the middle. But this goes together super quickly. Now, you could also pop these up if you wanted, but I'm going to pop the whole layer up, and so I'm not going to do that for the individual pieces, but you certainly could if you would like to. Okay. That way we can kind of judge these seams, and I probably still won't get it perfect, but that's okay. But I would just like to have it, you know, semi. And all, like I say, it comes together really quickly. The coloring is the only thing that takes a little time, especially if you have, you know, everything die cut. You would have to take a little time for that. But we're used to that as crafters. The prep work is what takes the time. And I just thought this made a super cute autumn card. And you could, there's one that says fall. There's all kind of different things. I just need to hold this up to look at it from my perspective to see if things are straight. So there, that is fun. And then we are just going to bring it here. And let me find a few dimensionals. These are minis. We don't want minis. Here they are. They snuck out of my holder. And I don't have my bone or my take your pick tool over here. And so picking these backings off with my fingernails is one of those things that's like chalkboard and fingernails on your chalkboard. It drives me a little crazy, but we're just going to go with it. And like I say, if you want to have a slide factor in here, you can put some glue to kind of tack that down. As long as you don't push hard on those dimensionals, you can generally scoot them around a little bit. So now I'm pressing hard on it, but have fun. It's a little bit longer on this side, but it's okay. It's a card. It's a handmade card, and it's beautiful, and I love it. So we have our outside and our inside, and then we have our matching envelope that was not difficult to make. So there, isn't that fun? I love that. You just want to keep in mind, whatever you choose, what cardstock color, you'd want to have it light enough so you could address it and have it be legible. Now, if you had navy or black and you had a white or gold gel pen, that might be fun too, but you just want to keep that in mind when you are choosing the color. Now, this next card won't take long at all. Just really going over those cutting measurements with you again. And we don't even have any stamping to do. It's just going to be assembling. So we are going to cut this at 6 inches. We are going to turn it and cut it at 7 inches. And we are going to score it at 3 1/2 inches. So there's our card base. And then we are going to keep our 8 1/2 side intact. We are going to scooch this down to 9 1/2 and cut it. And we are going to score it at 1 inch. And 8 inches. We're going to turn it, and we are going to score at 2 inches. And 6 inches. Move this out of the way. And again, just the 4 corners is what we're going to cut away. So we are going to cut up to the score line and a little bit down to the score line. At an angle up to the score line and a little bit above, and down to the score line. Same on this one. Give our lines a nice crease. Bring in on our shorter of the sides. And if you mess this up, it's fine. The other way looks nicer, but don't throw it away if you do it on that side. The world is not ending if that happened. We're going to pull that off. Put that over here. Again, this is our top. We are going to leave that unsealed. Tear and tape is just a great adhesive. It is the multi-purpose glue and the tear and tape are our strongest adhesives. They're nice too for when you travel. This is to take with you, and you can use it for things other than the strong jobs. So if you like to craft when you travel, it's a great one to pack. Not liquid, all the things. And so this, I didn't get scored well enough. There we go. Now, right offhand, I don't have a stamp that I want to use in the corner of this one, but I'm going to look through some of my old stamp sets, some of my other stamp sets. I'd like a snowflake, and I don't right offhand know of one that I have, but that's, I think, what I would like to use there. If not, I am going to take some designer series paper and cover this flap and maybe this one, maybe just this one, I don't know. But there are lots of ways, just like your regular envelopes, that you can decorate that too. I'm going to put my notch in. And this one, I'm just going to leave it. See, there's nothing wrong with that the way it is. No, boy, I didn't do a great job of scoring. Now, see, this I think is a little bit close. That could be part of the problem. So we're just going to take a little snip. That's why we trim those up off that score line, and that is better. That's definitely better. So that is a good example of why we do that. So here is our envelope again. And I already had a base cut. And this, I'm reusing one that I've used before. I repurposed it. And so what I'm using on this one, let me show you here quickly. In the mini catalog, the holiday mini catalog, on page 33, I have this Snowy Scenes Designer Series paper. As of this time, I do not have this bundle. It's not to say I won't get it. I'm trying very hard to be good. And so I haven't purchased this yet. But that doesn't mean that I can't still enjoy these fun little animals. I bought the paper. And so what I have done is cut things out. Now, let's just go ahead and do this liner to get it out of the way. I used my blending brush and put some Pool Party here. I had some greetings left over from, this one is from something else I did with Peaceful Season. And so I just used that and a scrap of that designer series paper. And we are just going to put this one and this one is portrait. But I'm going to turn it this way just so I can line up these 3 sides and get that pretty border. And you can, I use 3x6 on here, but you can use whatever size insert you want. And I had a little strip of paper. I thought that looked kind of fun there, but I just cut this out of that designer paper and this and glued those down. And I used that pool party, that little blending brush behind there, because then if I didn't cut it exactly straight, that background was pool party, so you don't notice it. So we're doing that. And let's just put this fun designer series paper that I cut out with a deckled rectangle. And these are a little bit weird to put on a, you know, it's not like straightness. So it's sometimes it's a little, and this paper is not necessarily, the stripes are not straight or symmetrical. And so it's kind of a little strange to put that down. But then I have this lovely little snowman on his globe. Move that back up. I tell you, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at keeping things in frame. Trying very hard to get better at that. And we're just going to try to semi-center it. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but we are going to try to make it semi-centered. And there's a lot going on, so you probably wouldn't even notice. And I don't, like I say, I don't like to use a lot of glue on my front focal pieces on my designer series paper, but I'm going to here for this. And we can just kind of make this go wherever we want. I kind of want it off the side there, just so he has a little friend in the front. And then let's flip him over and we'll put some dimensionals. My other cards, I had some foam adhesive sheets that we have, and I always forget to use those. And I had them out for another project, and I thought, you know, I am just going to use some of those, and it went together really quickly. So if you're like me and you forget to use those, just think about it. When you have a larger piece to adhere like this, pull those out and use those. They're quick. And then here we go. I'm going to put this more towards the top. Then the bottom. And then let's see here. We have these mini dimensionals that I had out before. These greetings are nice. And you know, we do have black ones. And I always forget that I have those too, and I didn't pull those out, but that would have been great for this, because then you don't notice them as much. And I'm just going to kind of lay that on here, because I do need to pick this one up to see if it's kind of centered. I don't want it too far away, so it looks homeless. It needs to be anchored to that. And I might need to go after filming and look about some gems. Maybe some gems would be fun on there too. But isn't this cute? It's super fun. It's quick. If you did your heat embossing on these and had those all ready to go, this is a cute thing. Like if you had your pieces all cut and just take your designer series paper, and you could easily craft several Christmas cards. If you're traveling and you want to take a project with you, you wouldn't have to pack a whole lot of extra things. You wouldn't have to take all of the extra inks and whatnot. So I think that this is fun too. This Peaceful Seasons stamp set is where I pulled the greetings in for that snowman card. I used the wishing you and yours, and then a season of wonder and happiness, I think was the other one that I used from this. So this is a really nice new set. And another one that I had made with that same Snowy Scenes paper was this one. And because in the set that we used for our fall card today, it had a penguin. And so I just pulled that in and used that. Don't be afraid to mix and match sweets, sets. I don't tend to use retired products on my videos because I'm trying to show you new things. But if you own something, use it. Get joy out of them, love your stamps, have a great time crafting. That's what I want you to do. And then I just had some speckles that I splattered up here and did that same kind of thing here on the bottom with it. This next one, I used the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, and this set is in the annual catalog. And I did this one just on white, and it is just a stamps, ink, and paper card. Now, I did add a few gems, but this is nice, again, for that beginner card maker that you don't have maybe a lot of different sets. This is a fun one because you just use your colors and you stamp, and it's all fun. This next one, I used this Naughty and Nice set. It is an online exclusive. And by the way, some new online exclusives came out today that demonstrators can order that will be available to customers November 1st. But if you want to do that starter kit special, you can put the new items into your starter kit. Just putting that out there in case that interests you. But this is Naughty and Nice, and it has a bunch of fun little stamps. And I thought this one would be fun to try. And so this was my take on this one. Now, this is that pool party ribbon that goes with Snowy Scenes, and I colored it with Shaded Spruce and just tucked it in behind here. The paper is from the Iconic Imagery paper. And then I think this came from that Peaceful, what did I say? Peaceful Season is the name of the greeting stamp set. And I just had some layers and had a scrap of that paper. Now, you'll notice if you look really carefully, there are those little peppermint little gems, I guess, or I'm not sure what they call them, but the little embellishments. And I thought they'd go well, but in hindsight, they kind of got lost there, but they're stuck. They are not coming up. And so that is just a fun little card as well from the North Pole Elves. And then Peace and Joy is what I did on the envelope. And then this one, I did decorate the flaps on the back. Okay, our next set. These are part of the Gold and Green Suite collection. And these are online exclusives as well. There are lots of products and things in with this suite of products, but we are just using these two stamp sets today and then the designer series paper. And this is also an online exclusive. It is, I think, called Mercury Vellum. And I used the adhesive sheets and put on the back of that and put it on some white cardstock so it was strong enough to use it as a label. And then we have some ribbon. And then I used the gold enamel effects on the envelope. And then these cute little like winterberry or holly berries. I'm not sure. Oh, what am I thinking? Maybe mistletoe berry is the clear one. And so we have that. And then I just cut a sprig out of that paper as well and used that on the inside. And I did not do the back of that one, but I just thought that was really, really pretty as well. Next up, we have the More Than Autumn set. And so I used some crumb cake cardstock and used it for Nothing's Better Than Donuts Except Maybe You. Used my blends to do some coloring, added some embellishments, and just a little strip again of that Iconic Imagery paper. on both this one and on the inside. I thought those were so fun. It is a really great set. I can't wait to play with it some more. And this last card is probably my favorite. It uses the iconic imagery set, and I decided to go a little bit extra on this. I don't know that you would be mass producing these. Maybe you would do 10 or so, but I don't think you want to do 100 of them, because I use these little leaves. I think I stamped them in pecan pie, and then I think I stamped off for some and on for some, and I believe it was with mossy meadow. But I wanted to make an Advent wreath, and so that is what I did. And I just took those, I think it was 2 circle dies, and I made just a skinny little circle to give me some stability to put all of the leaves on. And then I used the labels that came with that set, and these words come in the set. This one, I stamped out words that had these letters in them and then hacked them apart and glued them on here. And you could notice that now that I tell you that, but probably at a first glance, you just aren't even going to notice that that one is kind of hopped up a little bit versus these ones. And then I wanted the 3 fresh freesia candles, and then one, I think this is bubble bath or something like that. So I have 3 of the purple and 1 pink to represent the Advent candle, and then some linen thread. I have some splatters and some gems. These may be those druzy gems, or no, these are, I think there are pecan pie ones with these also. I don't remember what the name of them are, but they're really pretty. They have like a crosshatch in them. And then inside, I just took a set of those leaves, and I just, again, I believe it was bubble bath. I just stamped the berries and put inside. You could use another greeting in there if you wanted. You could put some designer series paper, whatever you wanted to do. And then the flames, and this are lemon lolly. Oh my goodness, there are so many cards. I didn't know if I would fit them all in, but I hope that you enjoy these cards and enjoy making some mini slimlines and find that they aren't as intimidating or hard to figure out as what you thought they might be. And as always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.